What's your name and your occupation?
My name is Clovis Gallon, Clovis. I am a teacher here at William Penn Senior High School in York, Pennsylvania.
How long you been with teaching at this school district?
I've been teaching here at William Penn for 14 years. I also coach basketball here. I've been a coach here for 13 years.
In the article, the letter that you wrote, published in the newspaper, you use the word experiment to describe the charter takeover. Can you elaborate on what you meant by that?
The reason why I said it was an experiment, as far as the two charter corporations that we're considering, not we, but the Chief Recovery Officer is considering to take over the school district, is because it's something that has never ever been done before in the state of Pennsylvania. It's been done in the state of Louisiana. After Hurricane Katrina, they fired all the teachers, brought in charter corporations to come in and run the school district, and that hasn't turned out so well. And then also in Muskegon Heights, Michigan, Mosaica, one of the charter corporations that we're considering right now, I keep saying we, I'm sorry, not we, the Chief Recovery Officer is considering right now to take over the school district. They took over a school district in Muskegon Heights, Michigan, and before the first day of school, the principal quit. Within the first few weeks of the school year, 25% of the staff quit, and I believe it was 2 years, within 2 years of a 5-year contract, Mosaica opted out of the deal because they couldn't return a profit. So when I say an experiment, it truly will be an experiment for our kids in this school district, in that you'll have some for-profit corporations, which is a violation of the financial recovery plan. It should be some nonprofit corporations that we're considering, but they're actually considering for-profit corporations, and they'll come in here and run our school district at the lowest cost possible to minimize their expenses, to maximize their profits.
The two charter schools that are the two big ones in school, with accident, and just schools we were all run by New Hope was run by Isaiah Anderson. What's your thoughts and feelings on him as far as how he's trying to make the school district sort of education that's sort of a hustle?
I mean, that's hard to say. As far as the information that was, released publicly, what they did with the tax dollars, as far as how they ran the school, there were a lot of questionable practices as far as how money was exchanging hands, how properties were being rented from the same umbrella corporation organization, but the kids had to go to school in the same building. There were a lot of ethical questions, maybe not illegal, but a lot of ethical questions raised about how the school was ran. I can say that the school's test scores were no better than any of the home school districts' test scores, and that was one of the reasons why the school was closed down and the charter was not renewed.
Now, most of the charters that are running and operating now don't actually employ actual teachers to teach each other. What's your thoughts on that?
There have been some questions about how charter schools hire teachers. I know they don't have a teachers union, so all the contracts are individually negotiated with teachers, and they are at-will employees. So some of the teachers that they do hire may or may not be certified. I can say that teachers here in York City School District are all certified teachers. Most of the teachers that work here are highly qualified in their field to teach, so you're getting the best possible staff in place here at the local school district.
The first charter proposal, they focused a lot on their plan to improve the community. They didn't really have any actual plans or things in place. What do you feel their involvement will be, if any, to actually improve it?
These charter schools that are talking about bringing in, their goal is to basically come in here and market their product as best they possibly can. Their goal is to come in, sell you whatever it is they're trying to sell you. Once they've done that and they have their contract, they can begin to operate the school at a baseline cost take their fee off the top, make their money, and whatever happens, happens. Now, granted, they're going to try to do their best to portray that they're giving a quality education and making it seem as if the kids are having the best academic experience as possible, reach out to the community in some form or fashion. But the reality is, this is a public school. And in a public school, you have employees at various levels, from the non-professionals to the professionals to administrative employees. And from that element, you're going to have people who are from this area working here in the school that are employees, and they have a great rapport with the kids and the families because they know them. It's a very close-knit community, and everybody knows everyone. So it wouldn't be hard for the local staff to be able to have that kind of relationship with the community through some of the programs that are already in place. I don't know what kind of programs these guys would come in and try to instill. I can say that maybe they would invest in that somehow with some of the money that they would get up front. Like Mosaic are saying they need a $2 million startup fee. Like, why would you need a $2 million startup fee with $500,000 going towards marketing? If you're running an entire school district, okay, there is no other option. Why would you need to market your product? Who are you trying to sell it to? Just a question, it's just a thought, but.
They said as well too, they were forced parent involvement, and knowing that we both have children in city schools and we teach at city school, do you think that they can change the culture?
I'm not sure what their plan is for changing the culture. I can only speak to what we do now from our end. I know me personally, I keep a personal call log of all the parents that I reach out to on a day-to-day basis. And here it is. I'm constantly in contact with parents, whether they're positive phone calls, negative phone calls, calls to set up meetings with students, with parents, and that's all you can do. Our parents, we deal with kids that come from a dynamic that's not comparable to your regular suburban school district. Our kids are faced with challenges that other kids may not be faced with on a day-to-day basis. I've had kids of parents, children from parents who may be incarcerated, or they may come from broken families. They may be living with a friend. They may be living with a grandmother, an aunt, an uncle. Some of the kids are homeless. Some kids have both parents. You just never know what these kids are facing on a day-to-day basis. You could be in a classroom full of kids, and you may have one kid who has both parents living a structured lifestyle, and you may have another kid on the other extreme who is homeless, and the kids next to each other would never even know that because they all don't share all their business or all their information, and some may know it, but they're very accepting of that, and they're very tolerant of that. So for this company to come in and just say it's going to be that easy to get these parents in here, maybe they can, maybe there is some magic bullet, but all I can say is I live it, I see it every day. I've been here, I've been groomed and born and raised here, and I'm in constant contact with my parents all the time. So I don't know how you change that and what you do to try to accommodate that, besides maybe trying to go into the homes. And many of our parents do that. We have social workers that do that. We have administrators that do that. So it does happen, contrary to popular opinion.
Most of the active community leaders and some city officials have no comment on all this is going on. Why do you think that is?
I think they don't have all the information. I think the media has been fed information from one side of this, the chief recovery officer, and there's really a target on the backs of teachers right now. The media doesn't realize that. The financial recovery plan right here, it happens to be right on my desk, is a document that was supposed to be a working document. There were some things that were put into the financial recovery plan, like as far as what the teachers were offered as far as negotiations. The hang up is, well, the teachers won't accept this contract, so it's all their fault that the district is being threatened to be charterized. Well, they failed to mention that the chief recovery officer said that if students would come back from New Hope, if they were closed, if there were some budget issues that would change, if kids would continue to make progress academically or meet some achievement standards, then some of those things would change as far as what's being offered to teachers. Well, I can tell you this, all right? According to the financial recovery plan, it was projected that the school district would have, I want to say this year, like a projected like $3 or $4 million deficit. With the 700 kids returning from New Hope and that building closing down, and those charter reimbursement costs not having to go to that school, I think we have a budget surplus. But no one talks about that in the media. So why are you still asking the teachers to make the kind of concessions you're asking them to make? 10% the first year, 9.8% the second year, like 11.9% the third year, and another 10% the following year. It amounts to almost 40% of their take-home pay, okay? 40% of their pay. And then on top of that, you want them to pay 50% more for insurance costs and work more days and longer days. I don't know anyone that would be willing to accept something like that, knowing that your company just received millions and millions of dollars. But they still keep saying the teachers won't take the deal. The teachers are still trying to negotiate. That's all I can say. We're not really allowed to negotiate in public, but this is public record. Anybody can pull the financial recovery plan off the school district website, read it and understand it, and you would probably raise the same questions, like why is no one talking about the fact that all the New Hope kids have returned, the student population has gone higher, so therefore their budget concerns aren't what they were before. So some things, the numbers should be readjusted. I'm not saying that we don't have to continue to negotiate, maybe come to a new deal to come up with a new collective bargaining agreement, but what they're offering the teachers right now, I think it's unrealistic and unfair.
One of the biggest things you talked about too was pride in the school. You being a graduate and everything. What's that going to mean to you?
Man, I love your Kai. I bleed orange and blue. And I bleed orange and blue on a lot of different levels because I did my undergrad work at Lincoln University and our colors there are orange and blue as well. I'm the announcer for the football games, a public address announcer, and we had the class of 1959. They had their reunion at the field, and we welcomed them in, and I said, man, once you're a Bearcat, you're always a Bearcat. And it means a lot because if one of these charter organizations come in and take over our school district, where's our tradition? Where's our history? Where do all those records go? For everything from academic records to academic achievements to athletic awards and athletic achievements to all the scholars and all the athletes that have come through this building. I mean, just having on your diploma, William Penn Senior High School in York City School District, it'll no longer say that anymore. It's gonna say something, 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 charter, whatever. And you'll have someone from who knows where running our school. I mean, it's a big, big deal. I mean, they will have complete authority to do whatever they want with our school. They could change the school colors. They could get rid of sports. I mean, not saying that they would come in and do something like that because on some level they probably would want to continue with some of the traditions that are already in place if they want to maintain some kind of continuity. But all those things will be threatened. And that's important for people to understand as well.
Final thoughts or anything else you want to add?
I just want to say that, my final thought is charterizing the entire school district should not even be an option on the table right now. This financial recovery plan, this is it. This is what we should be focused on, fixing the numbers in here so we can make them work, so we can continue to find it, to make our district financially solvent. We need some support from the state. The state needs to restore funding to public education so we can bring back programs, bring back teachers, lower our class sizes, and be able to really focus on the pillars of supporting the students of this school district, which are, having great collaboration between our staff, our administrative staff, the teachers, the school board, and the parents. If we can find a way to collectively come together as a group, it will elevate our kids to where they need to be. Not coming in and bringing some outside organization to say they can do this better than we can. We have what it takes right here to be able to service the kids in the York City School District.